Newcastle United have definitely been at a little bit of a crossroads. Alexander Isak could be leaving. So many rejections, and now I'm getting some players in. Today, we look at the arrival of Nick Woltemade and also the possibility of the arrival of Jørgen Strand Larsen from Wolves. But what does the striker shake-up really mean for Eddie Howe's plans? Stay in tune. Let's get into it. All right. As I was mentioning, today we're trying to dive deep into the transfers of Newcastle United and seeing what the striker shake-up really looks like for Newcastle and going forward. We'll try to look at a little bit in isolation on the transfers, a little bit of the tactics, maybe the risks that might be involved, and how this could be a defining moment of Newcastle's entire season as well. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Up on the stand, we got Nick Woltemade. I hope I'm saying this right, by the way. I don't know what his name is. That's how I would say it. This is a big signing for Newcastle United. He's about 23 years old. Been making waves in Germany. Really good. Very tall. Very strong in the air as well, but he's deceptively quite quick. He's not only a target man, he also passes, he links up play, and he does have a real keen eye for goal as well. This season in the Bundesliga, he's actually showed why exactly like top clubs have been looking at him in Europe. I remember Chelsea looking at him, a few other clubs were looking at him, Bayern Munich was looking at him, and so on and so forth. And with the transfer window coming to sort of a close, Newcastle being in the position they are at the moment, they acted fast. They put down a club record sort of fee for this player around in that 60 to 70 million pound mark, which is serious money. Especially in this PSR driven world we are in right now. And I got to just commend Newcastle for doing what they needed to do. Did let Isak basically drive them crazy for a bit, but I feel like now they have really gotten the man that they wanted at the end. And why did they spend so big? I think it's more or less about the profile of the player as well. Eddie Howe does love forwards who like to work hard off the ball, like Isak, who presses from the front, stretches defenses. Exactly why they looked at Hugo Ekitike as well. And I think Woltemade actually, I'm not gonna call him Woltemade, I'm just gonna call him Nick. Right? Nick ticks all those boxes. But there is a slight risk here, right? The jump from the Bundesliga to the Premier League isn't always smooth. It has worked out in occasions, but you see this season, Hugo Ekitike playing really well. Kai Havertz and Timo Werner didn't start particularly well. They're struggling as well, and you see that even with Florian Wirtz as well, for the price tag and everything. It can be quite daunting because you're coming in under pressure. You have to perform in the Premier League and the Champions League and the cups and so on and so forth. And we've seen talents actually struggle for the pace and with the pace and physicality of English football. And with that record fee hanging over him, will he feel the pressure from day one? Can he handle it? It's a question mark that we need to ask, and hopefully you guys can answer me in the comments below. And that's the gamble that Newcastle have taken, and that's the gamble. I think it's a smart gamble that Newcastle have taken, and it's a gamble that they needed to take as well. You can't always be waiting for Isak to make up his mind and do what he needed to do. But But then we hear the other news coming out saying that they're still also going for Jørgen Strand Larsen as well. So Strand Larsen, I actually really like Strand Larsen playing for Wolves, right? I think he's a quality player, and I think he will suit Newcastle to a T from the Premier League itself. And they have been on his case for a while. I think they've got a few bids rejected as well. Even currently at Wolves, he's a physical presence. He links up. He suits the Premier League quite well. He's scoring goals against big teams. He just came off the bench and scored 2 goals just the other day as well. And they're trying really hard now. I feel like they're trying to bid quite closer to each other as well for Strand Larsen, and they're saying about 50 to 60 million plus add-ons might be able to get the deal done. But do Wolves really want to sell so late in the window? The answers coming out of Wolves saying is they don't want to, but we don't know. Anything can happen in the transfer window as well. If the bid is big enough, and I feel like if Wolves might find a replacement, they might go for this thing, and Newcastle might have their man. But I feel like Strand Larsen, I think, is a really good buy for their project, and I feel like it might be a really suited addition together with Nick, so that they could rotate. If Nick is not feeling up to it, you put in Strand Larsen. Larsen already knows about the league and so on and so forth. But why is Newcastle pushing so hard for him? I think it definitely comes down to readiness and the ability to adapt to the league as quickly as he can as well, and even for the style of play that Newcastle is trying to play. Nick is exciting but sort of untested in England. Strand Larsen, proven, is they quite quickly he'll adapt to the league or the style of play. He slots straight away into Eddie Howe's system. It makes it a safer bet if Isak leaves. The problem is the timing at the moment. We are in the last few days of the transfer window, and Wolves don't want to sell, and it's as plain as that. But I feel like if the price is right, they will sell. They are a selling club at the end of the day, but Newcastle can't afford to waste any more time negotiating. They get rejected. If this is the man that they do think that they need, go in, put another bid in, try to get the breakthrough as quickly as possible. If not, they will be left short, and they might miss out on a really good player in Jørgen Strand Larsen. That's just my personal opinion. But one thing we do need to discuss in this case is the elephant in the room, which is a big red elephant in Alexander Isak. I feel like if these two go through, I feel like it's gonna happen. I think Alexander Isak will go to Liverpool, and I feel like that's one of the reasons Newcastle put the money down, because they knew that this might be happening. You know, it is clear that he has been such a good striker. He's quick, he's clinical, and he's capable of turning half chances into goals. But right now things are turning out to be good for Liverpool, and also things are turning out to be good for Newcastle with them getting their mans. The report suggested a standoff, and he has been training separately. Bids have already come in from Liverpool, although they have been rejected so far. Clearly you can see Newcastle are open to selling him if they do get their man. So simply speaking, money talks, and if Isak fetches, let's say 140, 145 million, I think he leaves. Easy as that. Even with add-ons, I think he will leave, and I think those add-ons will be met because Liverpool are a really good team. The problem is you're never going to replace Isak like for like, but maybe with two strikers, you still might be able to do that as well. So Newcastle are currently walking on a tightrope because they need to sign Strand Larsen quick, and then they need to agree a deal with Liverpool. I feel like the Liverpool deal already might be agreed, and it's just a matter of time until they secure Strand Larsen, and it's all systems go. That's just my gut feeling. But let's look at some scenarios, right? Let's look at scenario one for an example. Let's say Isak stays. We'll give some depth. Isak doesn't want to play, no problem. Nick will play. Howe can rotate, no problem at all. Because at certain point, Isak will play for Newcastle, whether he likes it or not. But let's say scenario two, Newcastle let Isak leave, and it's only Nick. This is the more riskier situation because you lose that little bit of creativity and all those other things, but also you run the risk of Nick actually adapting to the league quite quickly. We don't know how that will happen. Plus, you don't have any depth in it. The ideal scenario is Isak leaves, you get that toxicity out of your dressing room. Strand Larsen comes in as well. You got Nick and Strand Larsen doing wonders for Liverpool, for Newcastle. And I think this scenario will be really good because it will give the tactical flexibility for Eddie Howe to change scenarios on how Newcastle will approach games. You got two really capable strikers in both of them. And I think this will be fantastic for Newcastle in the outcomes, in how they were looking at the beginning of the window, getting rejected by all the people, to be ending the window like this. I think this is brilliant, and I wish them all the best as well. And so basically, to conclude what I have been talking about or rambling on for the last 11 or 12 minutes, right? So here's the sort of bottom line. Newcastle are taking a gamble, but it is a bold and high upside sort of gamble. Jørgen Strand Larsen coming in, safer Premier League proven option. And Alexander Isak, if he leaves, who cares? I think this is the most exciting thing that could have happened for Liverpool, for Newcastle. And I think it would be with Gordon and all the other attackers around these two strikers. It will be one of the most exciting forward lines in the league to watch as well. As long as we seen them in the last couple of games. They might not be scoring goals because they don't have their striker, but they're really hard to beat, and they still create quite a bit of chances against Liverpool. Either way, the next few days will be quite crucial for Newcastle's season, and and maybe even the club's long-term future as well. So hopefully they do well in this transfer window, and I hope they get their men. As a Chelsea fan, I don't really want it to happen, but who cares? We got to beat what we've got to beat at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter to me. And that's all I have to say about this, Matt. And I think hopefully I've done some justice into breaking it down quite well for you guys. So thanks again for watching the Offside Trap, where we break down the game and other scenarios one trap at a time. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Would you sell Isak or fight to keep him in this scenario? Or if you're getting these two players, just type in the comments saying, who gives a shit about Isak? Until then, see you next time. Goodbye.